Welcome to part 18 in this series of videos showing how to create a simple purchase order system using Blazor and C#. In this post, having edited an order, we will finally save changes to the SQL database. The page used to edit an order is split into two sections: the order header and order lines. The user can make changes directly to the order header by simply selecting a field where permitted and changing the data. For order lines, the user needs to select a row from the grid and then an action from the toolbar above it, either to add a new line, edit an existing line, or to delete a line. The crucial part here is that all changes are temporary until the user clicks the Save button. If the user clicks Cancel, the page will close and all changes will be lost. Similarly, all changes will be lost if the user closes the browser page or clicks the Browser Back button. The order header doesn't really cause a problem, but order lines do present a number of different scenarios, all of which need to be considered and handled. When editing an existing order, the user can add a new line, edit an existing line, edit a new line, delete an existing line, or delete a new line. It's worth considering or recalling how we deal with the ID of an order line when adding a new order. When a new order line is added, but not yet saved to the database, it is assigned a temporary negative number. For each order, the temporary negative number starts at -1 and decreases for each additional order line. When the order is eventually saved, it is given a positive ID automatically by the SQL database, the PO line being an identity column. When a saved order is later opened for editing, the order line records are retrieved from the database with their positive PO line ID and used to populate the order lines list. If we now add new order lines, those new order lines will have a temporary negative number. We can therefore distinguish between existing order lines and new ones. When the overall order is saved by the user clicking the Save button, any existing order lines that have been edited will be used to update the SQL database, whereas new order lines, identified by their negative number, will be inserted into the database. As an aside, a new order line can be edited before the order is saved, but as it will retain the negative ID assigned to it when originally saved, it will still be treated as a new order line and inserted into the database. If an order line added during the edit process is deleted, it doesn't cause much of a problem. It can simply be deleted from the order lines list. It won't have ever been added to the database, so no further action is needed. However, deleting an order line during the edit process that has already been saved to the database does cause a problem. We want them to be removed from order lines so they don't appear in the order lines grid during subsequent editing, but we need to know which lines have been deleted so we can delete them from the database when the user clicks the Save button. To get around this problem, I've decided to add a new collection list called Order Lines to be Deleted. And if the user selects an order line with a positive PO line ID, that ID should be added to the new list. When the user saves the order, part of the process will be to cycle through the order lines to be deleted and delete them from the database. So this is a summary of the way these things will be treated. An existing order line may be edited and it will be identified by having a PO line greater than 0, and an existing order line may be deleted, and again that will be identified by the PO line ID being greater than 0. For new order lines, they will always be 0, or less than 0 rather, whether they've just been added or just added and then edited. A new order line can be deleted, and that's just removed from the order lines list. So that's the summary. Let's have a look at the code. At the end of the previous video, I think we showed that we can change data in a, while editing an order, such as here. But if I click Save, nothing happens. I can go back, show the edit, and we had noticed we haven't changed anything. So that's the position that we left last time. And the reason for that is that the order save method, which is called when the user clicks the save button, if it's a new order, it will add it to the SQL database. But down here, if the PO header is not 0, at the moment it just sends us straight back to the navigation to the index page. Now, the order header is probably the easiest bit to start with, and we can use the PO header update method created by the original code generator. So what we need to do is just insert some code in here, and there's a comment to say the order's being edited, and we can use the PO header service, PO header update, which is in the PO header service, and that's just going to update the PO header part of it. So that deals with the header. Let's quickly demonstrate that. So if I select this order, select Edit, and change the address there, click Save, come back to it, edit it again, and it saved it. So the order header is being saved correctly. Now the order lines, the list order lines, which is what the grid is showing. So this is the order header up at the top, and the grid is the order lines grid, and we'll see that's the data source for that is order lines. And the order lines service has got a method in there for inserting and a method in there for updating. And we can use that together with the ID of the lines to either insert or update lines. And the code for that again is fairly straightforward. Give ourselves a bit of space. So what this does, the code reads through each order line, and if the order line ID is greater than 0, it means it already existed, therefore all we need to do is update it, and that updates the individual order lines. On the other hand, if the PO line header line ID, that should be, is negative, it means that it's been added during the edit of the order, and we can therefore add that to the SQL database. So that's the procedure that we're going to use there. Now, as I mentioned, the way I'm going to deal with deletions is that if it's a PO line ID less than 0, it means it's been added during the current edit session. Therefore, it can just be discarded. It's never been to the database and it never needs to go anywhere near it. But where a PO line ID is greater than 0, it means that it is in the database and we do need to delete it from the database. The delete process, let's run it and just demonstrate. The delete process at the moment will remove it from the order lines. Let's just quickly add one. I'm going to add a line in here, I'm going to add that again. So the delete button here does work. So I can remove this and it's gone. And if I save the order, it won't have gone to the database. But it's not showing here either. So we're back where we started. If I delete one of these, however, we want it to disappear from the grid here, but we want it to be deleted from the database as well. Now, if I save at the moment, it hasn't been deleted from the database. So if I try editing it again, it's reappeared. So let's have a look at that. I want to create a new list of objects, and I'm going to call this list order lines to be deleted. And when the user clicks delete from the toolbar and selects it to be deleted, I want it to delete it from that order lines list or collection, but I want the ID added to the order lines to be deleted list. So let's start by declaring the new list. Where's a good place for it? Stick it in there. So that's our new list. It's of a type, just lists the integers, i.e. the IDs of the orders to be deleted. And then I need to modify the order line delete so that if the ID is greater than 0, it gets added to that list. So this is the order line delete, and what I want to do here is give myself a bit of space and say if the selected PO line ID is greater than 0, it means it's already been saved to the database and was present at the start of this order edit, and it needs to be added to the order lines to be deleted. So that will add that to this order lines to be deleted list. So that gives us the list of records to be deleted, but we've no means of deleting them yet. The automatic generation of PO line service did not include anything for deleting an order line. So we'll start with the SQL, and we'll see we haven't got a PO line delete. We've got get by PO header, get one, insert, list and update. What we need is a stored procedure to delete them. Luckily, I've got one handy. The code is very simple. It simply says use the purchase orders database, then the usual business about setting anti-nulls on and quoted identifier on, and then create a stored procedure which we're going to call sp PO line underscore delete one, and we're going to pass into it the PO line ID. That's going to come from that new list that I've created, and it's simply begin delete from PO line where PO line ID equals the parameter we're being passed in. So I'll execute that. So that should have created our new stored procedure. But we need to add that to the PO line service. And it's very similar to some of these other ones. Let me just, I think I've got this here. So it's going to be PO line delete one. The parameters is just the PO line ID, and then it's going to execute the stored procedure PO line delete one. As always, we need to add that, the PO line delete one, to the IPO line service. And that should do it. So it's a Boolean, either it's going to work or it isn't going to work, and I'm passing in the integer of the PO line ID. Now with these elements in place, we can go back to the purchase order page, and on the order save we can add a new section. So we're going through the order lines that are currently existing. We now need to go through the order lines to be deleted, and I haven't got the text for that, so I'm going to have to do it manually. So it's very simple. That should delete it. But having done that, we want to clear the list of PO lines to be deleted. We don't want that to still retain that those lines. Right, so what we're doing here, we're going through the order lines to be deleted record set or list, deleting them from the SQL database, and then clearing that list again. So that should be it. So let's save everything and run it. I've missed off a semicolon somewhere. Right, let's have another go. So there's our order. Let's try editing it. I'm going to change the header. I'm going to add a new line. I'm going to be adding the same old products. It doesn't really matter what they are. So that's added 2 new lines. I'm now going to edit one of them. I'm going to change that quantity to 70 just to make it stand out. I'm going to edit that row, and I'm going to make that 5. I really don't like the way these behave. I'll have to have a look at that at some point. So that was 3, it's now 5. I'm now going to delete that item, and I'm going to delete the top item. So we're now left with an overall order value of £392.70. I'm going to click Save. £392.70. Click to edit it, and there it is as we've edited it. So we added a new line, we edited a new line, and we deleted a new line. We edited an existing line, and we deleted an existing line. So I think that just about wraps it up for this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you've got any comments, please leave them in the comments below. I will put a link to the website where I've got the code for this and a fuller description. If you've been watching so far and have got to the end of this, thank you. I have a feeling the next video isn't going to come along quite as quickly as some of these have. The next video, I aim to be able to produce a PDF of an order in preparation for being able to email an order to the supplier. So that's what's coming up next, and I hope it won't be too far into the future. Thanks very much.